oh, really? Surely it must just be some sort of box-ticking exercise for Mental Health Awareness Week. Hopefully we'll just watch it and then we'll say we've watched it and it'll be fine. We'll just tick the box and move on. Well, I hope that's not the case. My name's Donaghy. People just seem to know me as Big Ian. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a conference speaker, and I'm an author. 3 of the books I've written are called Dear Dementia. This is in every library in the UK and has been sold in 24 countries in the world. A book called The Missing Piece, all about people and how they cope with losing the most precious people in their lives. And finally, a book I wrote during lockdown. It's called A Pocketful of Kindness. You probably think you're far too busy. You've got stuff to do. You've got a to-do list that's like that. I'm too busy for Mental Health Awareness Week. Far too busy. Well, I'll tell you what, take a bit of time and think, should I be that busy? Should I maybe focus on the bits that really matter? Things that are often on people's to-don't list. But today, I want us to think about these and think about the difference that we can make to our lives and the lives of the people around us. You're not too busy. You shouldn't be too busy. What's more important than the people you work with? What's more important than your family? What's more important than you? Nothing's more important. You're not too busy. See, this is another one of these Zoom meetings or Teams meetings or something. Oh no, not another one. And what you've done for months and months, and now it's over a year, you've been sat there. You're probably zoomed out, where I have to pretend that I'm interested and go. And one where you answer questions by going, and you do that with your big thumbs up, and then you do, and then at the end you give a big wave and you do that. And then what you do is you think, I wonder if they know I'm wearing shorts. I wonder if they know that I've got a bowl of Cocoa Pops by the side and I'm just going to go on. I wonder if they know that I'm just checking my phone by the side of the computer. Of course we know, because we all do it. So this isn't just another Zoom or a Teams meeting today. I bet you've only tidied behind the webcam bit. I bet the rest of the house is an absolute state. I bet it's all over the place. And I'll tell you what, check that shelf behind you. Always check the shelf behind you. If I was to tell you that there was an unlimited supply of something in this world that costs nothing, that isn't going to mess up the ozone layer, it's not going to destroy the environment, it's just going to make people's lives better. As I say, it costs nothing. And if you give it to someone else, you don't have less. Somehow by you giving them something, it gives you something too. It's a win-win. There's no draw, there's no lose. It's win-win for everyone. I'm talking about kindness. Now this isn't some hippie idea. This is real. I don't care who you are. You can have any background, any education, whatever. You've got all this kindness in you. If you use kindness well, you can impact on every single life you touch. That's a big deal, and I hope it's not lost on you. Mental health is a huge problem. It's a huge problem in schools. It's a huge problem in the workplace. It's a huge problem in homes. We need to do something about this. Now, we can either be part of the problem or part of the solution. And only you can decide. Because if you want to be part of the solution, and enough people want to be part of that solution, then we've got a solution. But if you want to be part of that problem, then we've got a pretty damn big problem. See, every day, in everything we say and everything we do, we decide whether people around us are isolated. We decide whether people are left out, whether people are excluded or whether people are included. See, the way I see it, if we don't include people, then we exclude people. And that ain't right. We need to include everybody. Our words and our actions decide whether somebody belongs. Now you might look at it another way. You might think, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be part of the problem. I'm not going to be part of the solution. I'll just do nothing. And that's a tempter. Because you think, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting, I'm not helping. I'm just getting on with my own knitting and not bothering anybody. But I want you to think about this. When you walked onto this spinning rock and you thought, right, I'm going to be here for 70 years, for 80 years. If you do nothing to help somebody, if you do nothing to solve a problem and just look after yourself and think, it's not my problem, don't matter. Ask yourself, the world you leave behind for your children and your grandchildren, is that a better world or a worse world through you doing nothing? Because the world spins and the world changes and it needs people to help other people. Don't think about you, think about your children, think about your grandchildren, think about the world that you leave behind. I want you to go back in time with me. Are you ready? Like they do in films. It's New Year's Eve. It's 2019. And you're all there. You've had far too much to drink and you can't dance. And you've all got your arms crossed and you're going... and you don't know the words, but you never have. You'd have enjoyed it a little bit more if you'd have known that 12 weeks from there, the world would stop spinning. Your world would change. You would meet unprecedented times. In fact, the term unprecedented would be used an unprecedented amount. You would be sailing on uncharted waters. The shops would close. The hairdressers would shut and your roots would look dreadful. There'd be no pubs. The only place you can get a beer is from the fridge. And there's no theatres or live music because the show mustn't go on. This was totally different, totally different. We felt alone. We were having to work from home. Work from home. We were having to school our own children, tutor them. How many of you know how to do algebra? Not many. How many of you know where apostrophes go? None of you. What's an active and a passive noun? Nobody knows that. Not even the teachers know what an active and a passive noun is. This was a whole new challenge, and we had to face it together. New words appeared that we'd never heard of, like furlough. Nobody had heard of furlough unless you'd done A-level history at school. That meant that you got 80% of the money for doing no percent of the job. You got paid 80% of the money for doing bike rides, for doing baking, and for doing box sets. The bad news was, some people had to do 100% of the job for 100% of the money. We entered the world of next slide, please.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, please.
Nobody signed up for COVID-19. Nobody saw it coming. It wasn't going to cause us any bother. Probably it's just a flu. Probably last a couple of weeks, and there you go. We never thought this COVID thing was going to be a big deal. It was something that was on the news. It was a bong on the news. It was something that was happening somewhere else. But it wasn't happening here. That's all it was, a bong on the news. And then it came here. And then suddenly it became something. It wasn't just a flu that was going to be around for 2 weeks. This was bigger. And I tell you, who would have thought we'd still be here in May 2021? See, the problem is sometimes people are a bit obsessed with me. Me. Can I just get mine first? Me. Don't tell me what you're going to earn. Don't tell me what you're going to be. Don't tell me what your car you're going to drive, what house you're going to live in. Tell me who you're going to help. Because do you know what? In years to come, when you're not here anymore, no one's going to care about the car you drove. No one's going to care about the house you live in. Nobody's really going to care about the job you do. They're going to care about the impact you had on others. So Mental Health Awareness Week, as I say, it could just be something that comes and goes. Or it could be something where you think, I'm going to invest something in here. Not necessarily in mental health, but in someone's mental wealth. You can deposit in somebody's mental wealth. You can make them feel richer. You can make them feel better with the things that you do. So you can decide, Am I going to take things out of all these relationships, take things out of every day? Or am I going to invest not only in myself, but in the people around me? You decide. See, the clues are there. The words are there. Mankind, womankind, humankind. It's not human unkind. It's not human selfish. It's not human use your head as a rung on the ladder so I can get above you and look down on you. No, it's humankind. The clue is there. We need to be kind. See, it's cool to be kind. Oh, yeah, I'll get my phone out. I tell you what, rather than help somebody, and I'll just do that, I'll go, hashtag be kind, hashtag be lovely, hashtag kindness matters. And you can go on Twitter, and you can go on Facebook, and you can go on Instagram, and you can just put a lovely little picture up or a meme or something and put hashtag be kind, hashtag kindness matters.
Hashtag kindness. Hashtag be kind. Hashtag kindness matters.
Hashtag.
I tell you what, stop tapping on your phones. Why not use that time to do something worthwhile? Why not use that time to actually be kind instead of talking about it? Because do you know what? Kindness isn't just a hashtag. Kindness is a way of life. Don't talk about it, be about it. See, in this last year, isolation's been the problem. People have felt alone, like Robinson Crusoe on a desert island. Or sometimes Man Friday might say, let's do a Zoom on a Thursday. Great, thanks for that, Man Friday. But you feel alone, like there's no bridge to the mainland. And you've had not much to look forward to. You've had the job, you've had the work. Work has been something you've done, not a place you go to. You've missed out on the jokes. You've missed out on the banter. You've missed out on those water cooler moments, like that many people have a water cooler with any water in them. You've missed out on saying how amazing Line of Duty was up until the finale and then how incredibly disappointing it was. You've missed out on Liverpool being amazing and then being dreadful. You've missed out on all these things. You've missed out on the cement between the bricks. Those little interactions that make work not just work. You've missed out on the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. You've missed out on other people. We've got to get that back. Isolation may seem a big problem, but you might be able to solve it. It might be more isolation than isolation. Because when you think about it, the key to the lock is on your side of the door. So back in March 2020, all of my work disappeared as a speaker. All of it just dropped out of my diary. And I thought, what am I going to do? So I went into my garden and I looked back on the stories of everyone I've met in my life in education, in dementia care, even from being a bouncer years ago in Durham. And I put all those stories together and I wrote this little book. It's called A Pocketful of Kindness. And it's tiny little stories that each last a cup of tea long. There's pictures on every page. I've got stories about Sir Bobby Robson, the England manager. Stories about Barry McGuigan, the world boxing champion. Stories about Robert Cray, the guitarist. I've got stories about famous people, and then I've got stories about people who you've never met, but you'd love to buy them a beer. These are stories about kindness. These are stories about how their kindness have changed lives, have touched other people's futures, how they've just made such a huge difference. And the whole idea of this book is that you give it away. You give the book away. Because what you do is you send it, and inside you write down who the book's for, and then you write down the reason you've given them it. I don't think these people realise how important they've been to your past, to your present, and your future. And sometimes we need to tell people. We need to appreciate one another. If you feel appreciated, you'll make other people appreciated. This will snowball and snowball and snowball. This is the most positive thing. This is a pandemic we want. We want kindness to be the next pandemic. And I tell you, nobody will want vaccinating for that. When I wrote the book, I thought, let's make those stories nice and short, nice and punchy, so you can pick it up and you can dip in, and they only last about a cup of tea each. So I thought they'll be a lovely a little addition to somebody's coffee table. There might be a little book for someone's bedside table. But people have sent me so many emails and said, Ian, we love your book. I read a story all the time. Every time I go, yes, I don't care where you read it, so long as it's getting read. I'm far too busy to read books. I don't read books. I don't read books. Don't read books. Read little stories that last a page each, or 2 pages each. Dip in. What you do is, you pick it up, you get that little cuddle from the kindness of the story, and then that's made your day. And then you think, how am I going to change someone's day? How am I going to pass on that kindness? And that's what we want. We want this to be the next pandemic. The guy who mends my car for the last 25 years says, I've read your book, Ian. I don't read books. And I devoured it in 2 nights. I laughed and I cried, but what a book. I loved it to bits. Another person read it and said, it's like a Haynes manual for kindness. It's funny. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you think. But what I think it'll do is, it'll make you appreciate the people you've had in your life who've got you to where you are today. Everybody's told me who has read the book said, do you know, there's a character in that story who reminds me of my dad. There's a character in that story who reminds me of my nana. There's a character in that story who reminds me of my sister. The whole idea of this book is that you think and you thank and you reflect. You look back on your life and you think, at that moment when I needed belief, that one person gave me that belief. That time when I was terrified, when I was scared, that one person removed all the fear from my life so that I could move on. It's all about looking back at your life and appreciating the people who've made a massive difference to you, because other people will read the book and realise what a massive difference you've made to them. So stop being too busy. Stop it. Don't be too busy. If you're too busy to be kind to people, then you've got it wrong. People go on about a life-work balance because we need to make sure that we are using kindness and helping others every single day. Because if we help others, they'll help us. Imagine if we were all on the same team. If everybody is kind, we are all on the same team. We are all kicking the same way. And imagine what we could achieve together. When the pandemic arrived, the world changed. No cars on the road, nobody in shops, nobody at work. The roads were empty and the birds were singing. They were providing the live music when all the guitars had been unplugged. It was like going back in time. Streets became communities. The little old man down the street, aged 83, suddenly became George. And the guy down the road, 75, became Steve. And people were going with foil cloches, with dumplings and stew and curries. And if I was getting a takeaway, I'll get a takeaway for you. There were cakes and there were biscuits and there was everything and fresh bread, all delivered, and it was beautiful. And they wanted to say thank you. So George up the street said, I do a bit of woodwork. And what he did was, what's your house called? I said, it's called the White House. He says, I've made you this. And he made this. Isn't that amazing? He gave us that because we gave him time and we gave him everything that he wanted and needed. And then my friend Steve, who'd lost his wife, and he got COVID in the middle of grief, and he said, do you know what? I used to be a head of art and I haven't picked any painting up, I haven't picked up any pottery or anything. I've made you something. I said, what? He says, Ian, I know you love a mug of tea. I've made you a mug with your name on, and music, because I know you're a musician. And I've made a mug for Em. This is community. This is us helping him, him helping us. These mugs are very different to anything else in our cupboards, because these mugs are made with love. The best ingredient of all. Cheers. We need to make sure that we don't lose this new community. We need to make sure that we keep the bits that are special and get rid of the bits that we didn't want from before. That's how we're going to use kindness to evolve together. Community is an incredible thing. Today I'm speaking to possibly 9,000, 10,000 people, and you all got your own communities around you. And it's the most untapped resource we've got. Where I live in York, we do a thing called Christmas presents. We do Christmas Day for older people who are living with dementia, who may live alone or just as a couple or whatever, and we bring them all together. We chauffeur drive them on Christmas Day. We give them Christmas dinner, the finest ingredients, cooked by the best chefs in the city. We give them a big hamper to go home with. We give them live music, a 21-piece live band. We give them everything on Christmas Day. Why? Because we can. And because they deserve the best. Because we all deserve the best. See, that's what we're missing out on. Communities can do this. We can do this. We can solve problems. We do a thing called A Night to Remember, a huge concert at York Barbican.
Should we go for it all together? I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind. And I put down in words how wonderful life is when you're in the world.
We get 1,600 people in there. We make the ticket price very affordable so families and all generations can sit together and enjoy the music together. At the end of the night, we've made about £30,000 that we give to good causes. Community together. Everybody on that stage, all earning the same. Nout. Everybody pulling together, bringing their A game, leaving their egos at the door. This is what community is. You have a big community. You can do anything, but you can't do it by yourself. But you can do it if you've got a handful of diamonds around you. People who are willing to get behind you. That's the power of community. And that power of community and that passion and that kindness can create change. We do a thing called Dementia is a Team Game. To make people's dreams come true. One day, we got one gentleman who was 94. And I said, Roy, if you could have one dream come true, what would it be? He went, I want to score at Notts County, at Meadow Lane. I get on the phone. I say, can you give me one good reason why a bloke called Roy, who's 94, who lives with dementia, can't score a goal at Meadow Lane? And the young lady called Alice at the other end of the phone said, no. I said, let's do it. That video went viral. 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. It made national telly in Colombia, Mexico, Italy, Brazil, Spain. And Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid also had Roy scoring a penalty at Meadow Lane on Good Morning Britain.
94-year-old dementia patient Roy Prentice is allowed to live out his lifelong dream on a Saturday of scoring in front of home fans in Notts County. Here we go. Helped onto the pitch, took a penalty. In front of the home fans. Found it quite overwhelming. Oh. It was a beautiful moment, said a spokesperson for the club. His family were watching, everyone was emotional. And Roy, clearly very good luck for his team. The Magpies registered their first win in League Two this season with a 2-1 win over Crewe Alexandra.
Put him up front. Put him up front. Well done, Roy. I'm glad he didn't miss.
What did that cost? Nothing. One bloke, one mobile phone, bit of kindness. The rest is just people getting behind it. That's what we can do. That is the power of community. Now, this might shock you, because if you're feeling isolated or you're not feeling isolated, the power is in your hands. Because if you can help somebody, help them. You've got the power. You've got the initiative. If you see somebody in need, help them. But if you are in need, if you are feeling isolated, if you are having a problem, please, 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 do not discuss that with yourself. You have an opportunity here. Now, you might not think this is an opportunity, but you've got an opportunity to make somebody's day better by helping you. Because if you ask for help, you are giving somebody the opportunity to make a difference in your life. And if they make a difference in your life, it'll make a difference in their life. And they'll feel better. And they'll want to go and help somebody else, and help somebody else, and help somebody else. And when you feel better, you'll want to help somebody else because you felt how it feels for them to help you. So whether you need the help or you can give the help, the power's in your hands. It's an honour to help somebody. I work with nurses, I work with people in dementia care. It's an honour to help somebody. The best things you can give somebody is belief or relief. And if you believe in somebody, you'll be astounded what they can achieve. And if you give somebody relief, you can see that weight just being removed from their shoulders. And do you know what? You'll have removed that. You'll have removed that weight from their shoulders. Thank you. It's not just COVID-19. It's getting all the bongs, it's getting all the graphs, it's getting all of that. But whilst this is going on, male suicide's going through the roof. Depression, families falling to bits, divorce, domestic abuse. It's all happening. Kindness can stop this. Awareness of others, consideration, thought. Kindness needs to be the next pandemic. And as soon as COVID arrived, everybody thought this. Friends, family, and self. Because if we focus on our friends, and if we focus on our family, and if we focus on ourselves, we're not changing the world, but we're certainly changing the bits around us. And that's important. When we all come back together, please don't say, look how much weight she's put on. Look at the state of that hair. Unbelievable. How much older does he look? He's piled it on. He's piled it on. Look at him. Don't do that. Just tell them how pleased you are to see them and how much you've missed them. Good to see you. Missed you. How can you incorporate kindness? How can you make sure that this isn't just a little box that we're going to tick today? Believe in somebody. See somebody's potential and think, how am I going to turn that into something amazing so that we can develop you and polish a rough diamond so that you can lead others in future, so that you can get where you want to be, where you deserve to be. Support one another. Work well with one another. Be the oil in the machine, not the obstacles in front of somebody. Don't be the fly in the ointment. Do everything you can to make other people's day easier. Think about the others around you. Give them belief if they need belief, and give them relief if they are worried or concerned about something. They are the two most important gifts you can give, and wrap them both up in kindness. So, I'm hoping at the end of this that you're still listening. I'm hoping that you're not chomping away on your Cocoa Pops or whatever you're having on the side. I'm hoping you have listened. I hope this hasn't just been a box ticker. Why don't you pick up your phone and text somebody and just ask them how they're getting on? Why don't you just give them a little call now? Why not WhatsApp them? Why not send them a message on Facebook or whatever? Why not put pen to paper and send them a little letter, a little note? They won't believe what a big deal that is. You could even send them a copy of this little book. And in the front, you could say, this book has been gifted to. And you can send that to Dave. And Dave won't expect that because blokes tend not to do this sort of thing. And if you say, do you know what, Dave? I'd never have got to where I am today without your help when I was an apprentice. Signed, Mike. That might just blow somebody away. That makes somebody realise I've had an impact on somebody's life. We are here not for ourselves. We are here to make an impact on the lives of others. People might forget your name. They might forget where they met you or whatever. But you know what? People never ever forget how you make them feel. I hope that kindness is the new pandemic. We found a vaccine for the other one. I hope that when the world comes back together, we are all pleased to see one another and we all take the good bits from what we've learned from the last year and a half and we get rid of all the bad bits before. I hope that at the end of all this, the result will read, COVID-19, kindness, 20. If you would like a copy of A Pocketful of Kindness for your team, for your friends, for your family, you can buy it from bigian.co.uk. Thank you very much. And just remember, you're never too busy to be kind.